Hello and welcome to another exam paper walkthrough. Thank you very much for joining me today. Today I'm going to be looking at GCSE Maths paper and I'm going to be concentrating on an AQA past paper. So this is a copy of the past paper. Attached to the link to this description, you will be able to access a Google Drive where you can download a copy of this paper. If you've not already done the paper, I would recommend that you download a copy and do it either before watching the video or alongside the video. I'd also recommend having some music on in the background. It just makes it a little bit more enjoyable. I certainly have some music on while I'm recording them in an earpod. This is actually taken from the November 23 series, and this is a paper 1F. So we as a maths department, we have to keep we have to keep past papers secure for at least a year. So this is one of the most recent papers that I can do. And if you find this video useful, please do subscribe if you like, and you'll get any notifications when new videos come out. Before I get into the paper, what I'm going to do is I've used AQA's advanced exam breakdown for this paper, just to give you some rough ideas of the kind of grades that you, number of marks that you need for each of the grades. So this, on average, students needed 59 marks to get a grade 5 on this. Paper's out of 80, so you might want to keep track of the questions as you go. The other thing that I've left in here that's quite useful is questions facilitated by grade. So that what that actually tells you is kind of the ease of each question. So if I take the example of the grade 5, just because that's quite a useful one to look at. From the grade 5, we had the students found this question the hardest, so they found the trig values the hardest. Interesting, because I've just done a lesson on trig values with my year 11s. And it kind of tells you they try to put it in order of difficulty, but they kind of they have a few tripping points, and this gives you a bit of an indication of where these came from. Okay, so I will crack on with the exam paper then. Okay, so this is the paper. It is literally the AQA paper. I've just put a QR code on the front, which will take you to a playlist where I'll put all of the exam series in. Right, so if we start off, question 1, write down the value of 2 cubed. So that means 2 times 2 times 2. So what colour should we do this in? Let's go for blue. So I'm going to go 2 times 2 times 2 is going to be equal to 2 times 2 is 4, 4 times 2 is 8. So I'm going 8. And part B, work out 3.45 plus 2.07 minus 1.3. So I'm going to do my addition first of all. So I'm going to go, I'll set it up with a column. 2.07. So 5 plus 7 is going to give me 12, carry the 1. 4 plus 0 is going to give me 4, plus the 1 that I carried will give me 5. Put my decimal point in the same position. 3 plus 2 would give me 5. Okay, and then I need to do 5.52 minus 1.3, lining up my decimal point. I can put 0 in as a placeholder if it's helpful. So 2 plus 0 would be 2. 5 plus 3 would be 8, and then supposed to be taking away, not adding. 2 take away 0 is 2. 5 take away 3 is going to be 2, and then 4 take away 1 is going to be 4, but put my decimal point in the correct position. So I'm looking at 4.22. Okay, question 2. Here is a triangle. Measure the length of side X, giving your answer in millimeters. Okay, so I don't actually have a ruler here. Just give me 30 seconds. Okay, so hopefully this will kind of work. So I've got a image of a ruler, but it's kind of the same principle. So I want to put the line parallel to the side, place it on, and then we should be getting 7 centimeters for that. Make sure you start from 0. We're looking at 7 centimeters. So it's 7 centimeters. Oh, sorry, 7 centimeters, which would be 70 millimeters. I nearly fell into that. That's the same millimeters there. Measure angle Y. Okay, so I'm going to place my center of my protractor on the end of the angle, and then I'm going to measure it. So for me, that's looking 32 degrees. If I'm looking just here, we're looking at 32 degrees. Okay, question 3, write a number in the box to make the statement correct. So anything bigger than 3.7 would be absolutely fine. I'm going to go 3.8 just to keep it nice and straightforward. So that reads then 3.7 is less than 3.8. But as long as we've got any number bigger than 3.70, well, as long as we've got a number bigger than 3.7 would be absolutely fine there. Okay, question 4. Here is a number line. Which number is at A? So we've got 4 jumps. One, two, three, four. 4 jumps between 1 and 2. So we're going up in 0.25s each time. So that would be 1.25. And part B. Here is another number line. Which number is at B? So we're looking here. So this is going. This is dropping 1,000 over the space of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 steps. So each step is going to be worth sort of minus 200. So we're looking at minus 3,200. Misspoken there. We're going. I did say it correctly. We're going down in 200 each time. So that's 2 steps. So that would be minus 3,400. Okay. Right, question 5. Here is a shape. Write down the order of rotational symmetry of this shape. So that means that if I kind of put a pin in the center and then rotated it 360 times, how many times would it overlap itself? So it would overlap itself every... So if I imagine spinning it, that would overlap itself once, twice, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 times, it looks like. Okay, question 6. Simplify fully A plus A plus A plus A. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 lots of A, so that would be 4A. And then factorize, so that means put into brackets. A fancy way of saying put into brackets. So we're looking at common factor of 5 and 10. There's no algebra part, so the common factor of 5 and 10 would be 5 because 5 and 10 are both in the 5 times table. And I would need to multiply 5 by A to get 5A, and I need to multiply 5 by 2 to get 10, and I need an addition sign in the middle. And part C, multiply out. So I'm going to go 4 times 10 is 40, and I'm going to go 4 times minus x is going to give me minus 4x. Okay, question 7. Ollie and Rachel run a marathon race. Ollie starts the race at 9:15 a.m. He takes 3.75 hours to finish the race. What time does he finish the race? So I'm going to do this in chunking. So if I start at 9:15, and then actually I'm going to add 3/4 of an hour. So that is 3/4 of an hour is 45 minutes. 3/4 is equal to 45 minutes. So if I add on 45 minutes, that would take me to 10 a.m. And then if I add on 3 hours separately, that would take me to 13 if I'm going on a 24-hour clock. However, this is in a 12-hour clock, so I'm going to convert that to being 1 p.m. Part B, Rachel has a target time of 4 hours and 10 minutes. She has been running for 186 minutes. To meet her target, how many minutes does she have left to finish her race? Okay, so I'm going to convert this into minutes. So I'm going to say the 4 times by 60, because there are 60 minutes in an hour, plus 10. So 4 times 6 is 24, so 4 times 60 is 240, plus 10. So she's got a target time of 250 minutes. So we need to work out how many minutes she's got left over. So 250 minus 186. So can't take 6 away from 0, so we're going to exchange here. 10 take away 6 is going to give us 4. 4 take away 8 we can't do, so we exchange here again. So 14 take away 8 is going to give us 6. And then, so she's got 64 minutes. How many minutes does she have to finish the race? 64. I'm going to show a second method just because it's useful to check. I was thinking as I was doing it that this might have been a better way of doing it rather than doing the subtraction. What I could have said is if I start with 186, what do I need to add on to get to 240? And I'm going to do it in a chunking method. So to get from there to there, I would need to add on 14 minutes. To get from there to there, I'd need to add on 40 minutes. And then 40 plus 14 is going to be so that should have been 50. 250. So I've messed up there slightly. I misread 250 minutes, so 250 there. So I need 50 minutes there, which will give me 64. So 2 different ways. Okay, question 8. Shamara uses a tally chart to record the vehicles passing her school. Here is her chart with the tallies. Each 5-bar gate represents 5 vehicles. So part A, Shamira says the number of cars is more than the total of the other vehicles because cars have four 5-bar gates and the others only have 5-bar gates. Is she correct? Well, I'm going to guess no straight away because we don't just take into account the bars. Still working to support your answer. So let's just check. So 5, 10, 15, 20, 23. 5, 10, 12. 5, 6, 8. Lorry 4. So so 12 plus 8 plus 4 is equal to 24. We've got 23 cars, so no, 24 is greater than 23. And part B, on a grid, draw the bar chart to represent the data in this tally chart. Right, so I'm not going to be able to, can I do 2 pages? No. So to help me out here, just hold on a second. So I've just taken a screenshot of this because I'm going to use it here. I'm actually going to move it just outside the video so I can see it. So I need car, bus, van, lorry. So let's just check how many. So I need these bars not to touch first of all because it's non-numerical data. And I need 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4. So that fits nicely. So I'm going to go vehicle. And I'm going to go car. So go car. What my other bus, van, and lorry. So my total for car is going to be 23, so that's going to be halfway between there and there. And I do apologise, I don't have the facility of a ruler here. I could move myself into a different program, but I'm not going to do that. Bus is going to be 12. Van is going to be 8. And then lorry is going to be 4. So I've got 5 equal bars, equal width of the bars that do not touch, which is what we'd be looking for there. And hopefully my totals are correct. Just double check. 23, 12, 8 and 4. Perfect. Okay, question 9. Put the whole numbers 1 to 12 in boxes to make the calculations correct. Only use each numbers once. Okay, so 12 can only go in this group here because this one is already bigger than 12 and we don't have any negative numbers. And I could do 12, 1 and 3. So I've just spotted this other one, so I might change my mind on 12. We'll come back to that in a moment. So to make 7, if I imagined it was 1, 2, and 3, that would be the smallest combination I could make, and that would be 1 less than that. So I couldn't have 2, 2, 3, and 4, because that would be too big. So I've got to have 1, 2, and 4 there. That's the only way I'll be able to make that. So then I'm going to look at placing some of my other values. I think 15 might be a good one to look at next because if I think about, let's just say 3, 5, that would give me 8, 7. So I'm going to put those ones in as well, 3, 5, and 7, 3, 5, and 7. Then I'm going to look at, let's hope these will fit. So I'm going to go for my next biggest one. I'm going to go here. If I go 12 there, 11 there, that would leave me with, that currently adds up to 23. So that would leave me with 9. And then hopefully, if that's all right, my remaining numbers should fit in this one nicely. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, so 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Let's just check that that works. That does work. So there we go. There's all 12 digits fitted. That works out quite nicely. Okay, question 10. A regular pentagon has a perimeter of 100 millimeters. A shape is made by joining a square to the pentagon. What is the perimeter of this shape? Okay, right. Well, let's start by looking at, we've got 5 sides here. So 100 divided by 5 would give each side being 20 millimeters. And then these are all equal. So I've got now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 lots of 20. So I'm going to go 7 times by 20 is going to be equal to 140. So 140 millimeters. Okay, question 11. Last week, Eric worked for 10 hours. He paid no tax and received £90. This week, Eric works for 15 hours. He assumes he will be paid at the same rate and pay no tax. Work out how much does he expect to receive this week? So if he's worked for 10 hours and received £90, we want his price for £50. 15 hours, assuming no tax. I'm going to say it like this. So if he does 10 hours and gets paid £90, he would assume that for 5 hours he'd get £45. So for 15 hours he should be paid £135. Just added those values together, we get 15. So 135. Not the only way we could do this, so I'll do it another way. So we'll call that method 1, and we'll do method 2 in different colour. Let's go red. So method 2, I could say that his hourly rate is going to be 90 divided by 10 to give me 9, and then do 9 times by 15, which would give me 135 as well. Okay, part B. In fact, this week, Eric is paid an extra 50 pence per hour and pays £8.90 tasks. What does this tell you about the amount he received? Okay, show working to support your answer. Right, so if he worked, let me just check, it was 15 hours, wasn't it? Yeah, So let's just say he's going to be paying an extra, he's going to be paid an extra 15 times by 50. So that would be an extra £7.50, 0.5, which equals £7.50, £7.50 more, but he's paying £8.90 tax. £8.90 tax. So it is less than he expected. Show working to support your answer. I've shown my work in here. I should have done it here, down here, obviously. So he gets 15 times by 0.5, £7.50 more. But he's £8.90 tax. £8.90 tax. So has less money. Okay, question 12. Complete the list of 6 numbers so that the mode is 9, the median is 13, and the range is 11. So we need at least one extra 9. But if we want a median of 9, so the median is actually going to fall here. Slap bang there. So that needs to be 13. So what I'm going to say is, let's say he got another 9. And then that is 4 below the median. So we need a number that's 4 above the median. Interesting. So 4 above the median would be 17, which doesn't quite work. Well, no, that does quite work. But now I haven't got a mode of 9. I've got a mode of 9 and 17. So I would need an extra 9. And the range is 11. So 9 bigger than 11 is going to take me to 20. So that's my only combination that would work. Okay, question 13. A shape has an even number of sides, more sides than a square, fewer sides than a decagon. So write down the name of one shape that this could be. So it's got to be an even number of sides. It's got to be more than a square. It's got to be less than a decagon, which is 10 sides. So we're after either a 6-sided or an 8-sided shape. So we can go for a hexagon or an octagon. So I'm going to go for a hexagon. Because if there's more than one option, I will always go for the first one that appears. But that's my habit. You could have obviously had octagon. Either would be fine, but only one of them. Okay, question 14. On the grid, draw the graph of y is equal to 2x minus 6 for the values of x from -2 up to 5. So if I'm comparing it to y equals mx plus c, so the intercept c has got to be -6. So let's look for -6. And then the gradient has got to be equal to 2. So for every 1 across, it's going to go up 2. My graph doesn't go up in 1s, it goes up in 2s, but across in 1s. So for every 1, I'm going to go 1 up. So join that with a straight line, and that's my most straightforward way of doing that. Could have done it from a table of values if I needed to, but I'm happy with that. Okay. Question 15, work out giving your answer as a mixed number. So after it is a mixed number, so bear that in mind. So I'm going to convert this fraction first of all. I need to put them over the same denominators. The denominator I'm going to go for is 16. So I don't need to do anything to the second fraction. The first one I would need to double, so that's going to be 10 over. I would need to times the numerator and the denominator by 2, not necessarily double. And then if I'm adding that, then I'm going to get 23 over 16. And it says the mixed number, so 16 goes fully into 23 once with 16, 4, with 7 left over, so it's 1 and 7/16. Okay, question 16 here is a triangle on a grid. The triangle is reflected in a vertical line. Two of the vertices of the reflected triangle are at 7, 3 and 7, 7. So let's put those on 7, 3 and 7, 7. Okay, what are the coordinates of the other vertices of the triangle? So this is going to be my reflection line. And then my other point has got to be, well, this point is 1, 2, 3, 4 away, 1, 2, 3, 4 away. So it's going to be that coordinate there, which would be 10, 3. What is the equation of the line of reflection? So that is the line x is equal to 6, because on every point of this line, x is equal to 6. Okay, question 17. Ali has £80. He gives 9/10 of his money to Joe. Joe spends 2/3 of this money. He gives the rest back to Ali. What fraction of the £80 does Ali now have? So actually, I don't think the £80 is needed in this question. So let's look at this. So he gives 9/10 of the original amount. Joe spends 1/3 of the money and gives the rest back. So Joe gives back 1/3 of that. So if we simplify that fraction, we can go by 3s. So Joe gives him back 3/10 of the original money. And then he's actually got the 1/10 to start with. So that actually leaves us with 4/10, which would be 2/5 of the original amount. The 80 is irrelevant here. If you've done it using the 80, that's absolutely fine. You could have worked out the value of each part. That's absolutely fine. It's a bit of a longer method. I think that's perfectly acceptable to do it that way, though. Okay, work out the square root of 100 minus 4 times 2 squared plus 5, all in brackets. Okay, so I'm going to do the indices first of all, by orders of operation. So minus 4 times by 2 squared would become 4 plus 5. And then I'm going to do the brackets. So that's going to become the square root of 100 minus 4 times by 9, which is going to become 100 minus 36, which is going to become 100 minus 36 is going to become 64, and then the square root of 64 is 8. So we're going 8. Okay, question 19. What does A, U, B represent in the probability of A, U, B? Circle your answer. So that's the union. So that is everything covered by so that's the union of A and B. So that would be A or B or both. Okay, question 20. Salma is raising money for charity. Her mom says, whatever amount you raise, I will add double that amount. Show this information by drawing a graph on each grid. Amount raised by Salma. Okay, so 0 and 0, and then if amount raised by Selma, amount added by Mom. So if Selma raises 100, I will add double that amount. Whatever you raise, I will add double that amount. So if we're just after amount added by Mom, if Selma raised 100, Mom would give 200. And then we can kind of follow that. I'm just trying to put on a couple of points so I can get my line slightly accurate. That's going to be my line. Amount raised by Selma, total raise. So if Selma raises 100, Mom gives 200, that would be 300. And then we'll try and do the half mark as well. So 50 would be 150. So that's my two graphs. Okay, question 21, write down the value of cos90. So the value of cos90 is going to be 0. Okay, question 22. Work out the value of 8 squared times 8 divided by 8 to the power 9 divided by 8 to the power 5. So I'm going to tidy up both of these first of all. So 8 squared times by 8 would be 8 to the power 3. And I want to divide that by, we subtract the powers then when we subtract them. We subtract the powers when we divide them. So that would be 8 to the 4. So that would give me overall, and again we subtract the powers, that would give me 8 to the power minus 1. Give your answer as a decimal, so that's going to be I'm going to set it up as short division, so I'm going to go 8 into 1.000. I could carry on the zeros. I know that I don't need more than that though. So 8's going to 1 fully 0 times with 1 left over. 8's going to 10 fully once with 2 left over. 8's going to 20 fully. Excuse me. 8's going to 20 fully twice with 4 leftovers. And then 8's going to 40 5 times. So I'm looking at 0.125. Okay, question 23. Write down the equation of a line that is parallel to that. So I'm going to go for the most obvious, just 3x. But in reality, you could have any value there at all. Just say parallel, doesn't it? It does, yeah. Okay, question 24. A music company releases 10 albums. The scatter graph shows for each album the number of downloads on the first day and the number of CDs sold on the first day. A line of best fit has been drawn for the scatter graph. Okay. Number of downloads, number of CDs sold. Number of CDs sold on the first day, number of downloads on the first day. Okay. The scatter graph shows positive correlation. Describe the relationship between the number of downloads, number of CDs sold. So describe the relationship between, that's asking us to describe what positive correlation means really. So greater the number of downloads, the greater the number of CDs sold would be absolutely fine. So as downloads increase, the number of CDs sold increases. So as downloads increase, loads increase, the number of CDs sold also increases. As downloads increase, the number of CDs sold also increases. Okay, part B. Company earns £2.50 for each downloads and £3 for each CD sold. Company releases another album. On the first day, it has 900 downloads. Estimate the total amount the company earns from the downloads. So 99,000 downloads would imply 9,000 downloads. So 9,000 downloads would in so we're going up 5,400 CDs. So estimate the total amount the company earns from downloads and CDs on the first day. So we're doing 9,000 times by 2.5. So times 2.5. Well, anyone runs that one by 3. So 9. I'm just trying to think of a nice number to view this as. So if I say 9 times by 2.5, 9 times by 2.5 or 25 would be equal to, well, times by 4 would be 100, 225, 225. So I need to times that by 100. Let me just check that I'm doing that right. So I've done that times by 9. So yeah, I need to times by 100. 100 is going to be 22500. And then 54 times by 3 would be 150 would be 12, which would give me 162. Times that by 100. 100 would give me 16200. So I then need to add those two numbers together. So 22500, 16200. So I make it 38,700. Let me just check my working though. Yeah, I think that's all right. So I'm going to go 38,700. Okay, question 25. 70% of a number is 350. Work out 120% of the number. So 70% of the number is equal to 350. So I'm going to jump to it like this. I'm going to say that 10% is going to be equal to, divide by 7 would give me 50. So 120% would be times by 12 would be 600. So 600. Right, question 26. Here is the graph of, use the graph to estimate the solutions of it being equal to 0. So that's the line where it is x is equal to 0. And that's the line of y is equal to 0.5 x squared minus 6x plus 12. So we want the points, just double checking, that is that. That is that. So we want the points of intersection of those two graphs, that point and that point. So that's going up in ones, it looks like. Should really, so that is not quite 1, 2, Let's say x is equal to flat ring in the middle, so 2.5. X is equal to 9.5. Okay, question 27. A shape A is a circle with a radius of root 7 over 2. Root 17 over 2. Shape B is a sector with a radius of 5 centimeters. So with a radius of 5 centimeters. Which shape has the greater area, A or B? You must show your working. Okay, so shape A, if we start with shape A is a circle, so the area of that would be pi r squared. So that would be equal to pi times by root 17 over 2 squared. So that would give me root 17 squared would be 17 and 2 squared would be 4. So that's going to be 17 pi over 4. If we now look at shape B, so do it here, shape B. Let's change one colour for that. So shape B is a sector, so the area of that is going to be equal to 60, the angle, divided by 360, times by pi r squared. So 60 divided by 360, well, that will simplify to 1 over 6, 1 over 6, times by pi times by 5 squared, which would be 25 over 6 pi. Right, so we want to compare 17 over 4 to 25 over 6. So the lowest common multiple of those both would be 12. So to get this one as 12, I'm just doubling it. To get this one to 12, I'm times in by 3. So that would be 17 times by 3 would be 17, 34, 51. Let me just double check that in my head. 7 plus 4 is 11. Yeah, 51. So which one is bigger? Shape A. So that one is bigger than that one. That one is bigger than that one. So A is bigger than B. So A. So I think that's going to be absolutely fine. Show your working. I'm fairly confident that would be. So I'm just going to say here though, A is 1/12 of pi bigger. Okay, question 28, factorize. That's a nice one. So we're after two numbers. They both will start with x, and then we're after two numbers that multiply together to make -12, and that add together to make 2. So the difference between the two numbers has got to be 2. So we're looking at 24. I don't know where 12 came from. 24. So that's going to be 6 and 4. 6 and 4. 6 and 4. And the bigger one is the positive one. So we're going to go plus 6 and -4. So x plus 6 and x minus 4. Okay, write 2 times 10 to the power 3 as an ordinary number. So that's the same as 2 times by 1000. So it's going to be 2000. Okay, simplify 2 times 10 to the 3 to 5 times 10 to the -1. Well, we've already kind of worked this part out, so I'm going to say that that's 2000 to 0.5, which is going to be 400 to 1. So 400 to 1. And that brings us to the end of the paper. Right, before I sign off, I'll bring up that advanced Q&A again. So again, hopefully you've kept track of your marks. If not, you might want to go back and just check. For a grade 5 on that paper, you were looking at 59 marks. For a grade 4, you were looking at 47. Sorry, grade 3 is 39. Grade 2 was about 30, and then a grade 1, you needed 21 marks. And again, if you found one of those questions particularly challenging, the topics, I'll also chapter reference the video to these topics. That's where you need to do a little bit more independent study. Thanks very much for joining me to do this video. I hope you found it useful. Please do feel free to give any comments, questions or feedback in the chat to this video. I'm fairly quick in getting back to people on that. And if you find it useful, please do subscribe if you like, and you will get automatic pings as soon as I drop another video. And good luck, and I will see you soon.